people how to start businesses from home. And most of that time has been in the health and wellness profession. I'm 62 years old. I feel like I'm 32. I can do 200 push-ups a day, ride that bike behind me. And I feel amazing. And I have been blessed and educated on what we can do to maintain our health and our vibrancy. Amy, my wife, and I, we have a belief that we want to live to 120 healthy. But I know a lot of people don't know that. And that's why I've asked my good friend, Dr. Susan Lavelle, to join us for a quick chat today to talk about what you can do in this crazy time, but also not only today, but moving forward so that you too can not only have a strong immune system and live to 100 if you want to. Healthy, right? Dr. Susan, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's wonderful.
I'm excited about having this conversation. You know, I think there's some confusion out there on holistic medicine. You're in this functional medicine category. We've been programmed by traditional medicine to take drugs, and that's the answer. I believe that's like the dark side of the force. So what's your perspective? What's your perspective on what is holistic medicine and functional medicine?
Okay, so I get a lot of people when they ask me what I do, and I say functional medicine, and I say that, they get this blank look on their face, like, functional medicine, what is that? And so I'm kind of geared towards saying more holistic. People seem to catch that a little bit better. But essentially what it means is, rather than, like you just said, treating a symptom with a pill or a specific treatment, it's all about looking at the person as a whole, therefore holistic, and finding the root cause of what's going on. So, for instance, in diabetes, rather than giving insulin or a pill, it's about finding out, why is this person not processing sugar the way they should, and fixing that.
Yeah. How long has it been around?
Well, I mean, holistic medicine is centuries old, actually millennium old.
Where it started, right?
Exactly. So I think, modern medicine is just finally catching up to the fact that our health is not just, it's not in little compartments. It's all about everything: what we eat, what we think, how our emotions are. It's all of these things are what make us well. So it's been around for many, many more years than what we realize.
That's right. That's right. So tell us a little bit about your personal journey, because you have a very interesting background.
Right. So even though I knew at the age of 6 that I wanted to be a doctor, I fell in love with my pediatrician. I thought he was the most wonderful person. I actually had this detour, and I was a professional ballet dancer for about 17 years, wow. Went traveling around the world. And then I went back to medical school and became a plastic surgeon. And I was in plastic surgery, so working from the outside in for 22 years. And I loved it. I mean, if I could still do the surgery, I probably would. But I had my own health issues. And eventually, the way I got better and healed was with that holistic approach. And I realized that this is what I wanted to do for people. And no more from the outside in. I wanted to help people heal now from the inside out.
That's fantastic. I've had the belief for a long time. My wife's a former yoga teacher. My daughter's a Reiki master. So all the woo-woo stuff out there, it's real. Sometimes we don't know what we don't know. I remember the first really time that my mind got blown. And if you're watching this and you're not familiar with energy medicine, this might blow you away. But I was in Seattle with my daughter, Christina. Amy was here in North Carolina. Amy had struggled with having hip pain because she had a tumor removed. And so she had a lot of pain. And we did an energy workshop. And I, put my hands on my daughter, and she was the surrogate. And then we did it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I called my wife later that day. And I said, how you doing, honey? She said, the weirdest thing, around 3 o'clock today, all my pain went away. And I'm like, whoa.
We think it's woo. I mean, it sounds woo, but it's all energy. Life is energy. And when we connect in with that, it's just amazing what can happen.
Yeah. And there's so much energy in plants and basic nutrition, right?
Absolutely.
Give the body what the body needs, and the body will do what the body's supposed to. That's the way it was designed. But unfortunately, we look for Band-Aids. And I love people like you, because you're really looking for the root of the problems, like what's going on. So I just so appreciate what you're doing and how you're helping people. Let's talk a little bit on how people can protect themselves in today's world, besides doing this number. Everybody's got their mask on, and that's good. But there's probably some other things that we can do as well.
Right. And I won't even go into that mask, because that's the wrong kind of mask altogether. But anyway, I'm not going to protect you from anything. But essentially what you want to do is two things. You want to protect it so that, let's just talk about COVID-19. That's what's out there. You want to protect yourself, number one, from getting it. But it should not happen, because it is very infectious, that at least you don't have one of those severe cases that has you in the intensive care unit. And the answer to both of them is really to, as you were saying, with the body's wisdom, using the body's wisdom. How do you boost that? You do that by eating whole food. And by whole food, I mean, food that you recognize in its real form, not the processed stuff that we've gotten used to. So that would be the number one thing. And then once we do that, our mindset is the next thing, thinking positive thoughts, gratitude journaling. Again, you say it sounds woo-woo, but these are things that we can definitely do. And then third, there are specific supplements that you can add, especially in a time when you're really trying to keep your immunity high. Things like the old standby vitamin C, zinc, magnesium helps as well. There are various things like that. So it's really a combination of all of these things that help us be the healthiest that we possibly can.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to make some shifts to going back to food. Tell you just a funny story. My wife went shopping the other day, and the person before her, the cashier, gave her a really hard time because she had all this chicken and she was like hoarding chicken. And she says, "You cannot buy any more chicken here." And the cashier was just giving this woman a hard time. She's okay, I won't. So my wife comes up with a bunch of salad stuff, a bunch of celery. And she says, "I know I have a lot of celery." She said, "Don't worry, dear. People aren't hoarding celery."
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And isn't it the truth, though? People need to be focused.
Yeah. It's the, protein is important. I'm not going to say it's not. It's because it's one of the building blocks. But we really kind of hold back with the things like the fruits and the vegetables. It should be at least a half a plate, if not more, at this particular time. So yeah, your wife's got it all down.
Let's talk a little bit about some practical tips for holistic wellness. And you talked about vitamins, minerals. Let's talk maybe more about some of those groceries that you could get, some of those good foods that'll really help our bodies.
Okay. So in this particular time, we're very stressed. Whether we like it or not, there's a lot going on in the world. And so we want foods that are going to not just make us feel better, because then we're thinking the comfort foods like mashed potatoes and things. But we want foods that are going to, as I mentioned, build and support our adrenal gland, which is the gland that manages all of the stress, as well as our thyroid. So things like sea kelp and as I mentioned, protein before, other things like liver, fish. Shellfish is wonderful right now, especially because it's got a lot of zinc in it. So if you're not sensitive to shellfish, then that would be a wonderful thing right now. With plants and everything, just a full rainbow, literally, just because there are so many different nutrients in the different plants, and we need a real combination of all of them. So just as many as you possibly can.
So when you talk about the rainbow, you're really talking about not just all like green leafies, but other, like, what would be examples? Tomatoes.
Tomatoes are red. Eggplant is purple.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Kiwi is green. Well, that is green. Right. Yeah. But yeah, all different carrots. That orange family. So each one of them have different vitamins within them, vitamins and minerals. And if we just stick with, iceberg lettuce, for instance, which has practically nothing in it that's nutritious, but if we just stick with that, or even just the green leafies, we are losing so many other different nutrients that we don't even know about. And some people will say, well, I can just take a pill or a supplement. And yes, those are good to fill a gap. But the primary thing that you want to do is to start with the food, make that your foundation, have your strong foundation. And then if you're missing any, then you can supplement with other things.
Supplements are designed to supplement.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm no doctor, but I figured that one out. Let's talk a little bit about your vision for Premier Wellness in terms of what's going on today and as you move forward supporting your patients and clients and things like that.
Well, one of the wonderful things about Premier Wellness is that I have been able to do a lot of things virtually, even before this all started, because I had clients and practice members that were in Kansas and other various states, and so I was able to do these kind of things. But now, when we're all sequestered in our homes, it's even more important. Number one, that we're keeping ourselves as strong as possible and as healthy as possible, but that we can make these connections even now.
Right.
So one of the things we're doing is, we are doing some calls, but we're also doing group classes, teaching people what they need to know so they can be as healthy as they possibly can.
That's cool. So are you doing virtual classes as well?
Yes. Those will be actually starting next week. We did it on a little trial basis to make sure everything worked this past week, and they did. And so starting next week, we'll actually be doing classes, not only fitness, but, going through your pantry, what do you shop for, especially when things are starting to get low, all the things like that.
That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So if somebody does want to get this complimentary consult, what's involved with that? What do they need to do, and what's covered in that, Dr. Susan?
Yeah. So what I'm doing with these is, I know there's so many people are just concerned and want to know what they can possibly do. But you don't just want general information. Sometimes you really want to know, what's right for me. And that's very important to me. So I'm doing 15-minute complimentary consultations. I call them Health and Hope calls. And we'll just sit down, figure out what's going on with you, how I can help you, or if I can't, what sort of steps you can take on your own to be going forward. And if someone wants to do that, they can either call a number, which is 919-925-5910, or they can go to our website, which is www.premierwellness.com.
Well, I want to say thank you so much for being an amazing person, number one. I love who you are. I love what you represent. I love the impact that you're having on our community. And I know that, people are watching this probably all over the world. So if somebody's outside North Carolina, you can still have that conversation with them and support them?
Absolutely. I can work anywhere in the world. Anywhere Google and Chrome go, I can go.
I love that. Well, thank you so much again, Dr. Susan, for being here. Appreciate you. And my friend watching, I know you got some valuable tips out of this. Share this video with people who maybe are struggling with some health issues, or people like myself who are very proactive in their health. I believe there's never been a better time to take responsibility for your health. And that's really what it's about, right? It's about giving your body what it needs, but that's a responsibility that we need to be proactive on. We don't need to wait till it's broken to start doing it. We need to be doing it now, right?
Absolutely.
Amen. Right. All right, my friend, just remember this. One of the things that I'm big about is gratitude. I have all these 3x5 cards here. All of them have different things that I'm grateful for. Very easy to do. Start with gratitude, and gratitude will ripple into all parts of your life. We have a lot to be grateful for, even though things are a little bit different. But this is going to be the new normal for a while, so we need to adjust. I encourage you highly to take advantage of Dr. Susan's generous offers. I don't know how long she's going to be able to do this, so book your consult now and take advantage of that. She's an amazing practitioner. You'll absolutely love her as well. And if I can serve you in any way, feel free to reach out to me. And remember this, you do have a choice. Happiness is a choice. Success is a choice. Make it a better than terrific day and a prosperous one, because you, yes, you absolutely deserve it. Until next time, bye-bye for now. All right.